Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, if some of you might be having problems with leakage underneath your 97 Astro Van, underneath the driver's seat here, it's probably your ABS system is leaking somewhere. Mine happens to be leaking out of the pressure sensor switch. I have a video on actually changing that switch out, and it still did not fix the problem. So somewhere in the ABS system I got a deeper issue. So we are going to go ahead and take that out. In that last video I had already taken out, you can't see it, that plate right there. And I kind of tell you how to do that. So I'm also going to I'm just going to play that same thing in this video. And I'm up underneath here, and right underneath this there's a bolt here and a bolt here, and they were 13mm nuts on those, and that pan just sits, you know, right here and goes around and covers up kind of on the side over here. So anyhow, it was real simple. Just take those two off, the whole pan drops out, and you have pretty good access to where you need to be. Right there is the piece now that is leaking. The driver's side here. Trying to get video of what you need to take off here, and honestly I cannot make anything work too well, so I will show you when it's more out. So far, if you see that black switch right there, that is what I tried to replace, and that's where it's all leaking out of. And I replaced, that's a brand new one in there, and it's still leaking out of the plug you see sticking up right there. But as you can see, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 brake hoses here that have to be undone. There is the plate that had to come off the bottom right there, and I don't know if you can see any of this, but there's that right there that was clipped to the plate. I did have to undo that. That's for the O2 sensor wires. And then back in the back, which you probably can't see any of it, there's a couple wires back there that you gotta unhook. So hopefully this comes out. I'm gonna undo everything, and then hopefully I'll have it out and I'll be able to explain it to you a little bit more. I will figure out where all the nuts and bolts and things are that you're gonna have to get to and unhook it, but until I figure all that out, and trying to get camera down here is just not working out for me. So hopefully we can make this work out, and I'll be back. I just got in from the break, and well, back from break, and I'm not gonna lie, this has been kind of not a difficult job, but a messy job. Got gloves on. These Harbor Freight 7mm ones seem to be holding up to brake fluid. Also tried the Challenger from Napa black 6mm ones. Those held up as well. I got messy, so I went through a couple of them. But regardless, I got this put up underneath here, and it's been dripping on me, and luckily I got, you know, if you have any kind of coveralls, I would highly recommend putting them on. Do the best you can to keep all the brake fluid off you. That stuff's pretty nasty. But anyhow, we're going to go under there and hopefully get it the rest of the way out. Just got it out. Like I said, gonna want gloves. Also, don't forget safety glasses. You got brake fluid and dirt and crap dripping and falling all over your face. I didn't put a rag on this side. This was mostly on this side because you're going to need to be able to use your left hand to get up in there and unscrew some of the brake lines and things. Also, suck the brake fluid out of your brake master cylinder here, and that way you won't probably drip quite as much as I did. Mine was most of the way gone, but I wish I would have taking the rest of it out, but that's neither here nor there. And here it is out from underneath the rig. Now when you look up under there and you look at the frame rail, you're going to see something looks similar to that right there. Okay, then down here you're going to have two 13mm nuts you're going to pull off, which will allow this to drop off. And then yet again, it's out. I've taken out this pressure sensor here. I can't, honestly, I'm putting this in here because I realized I didn't show you guys how completely to take this out very well, so I'm kind of trying to redo this part a little bit. But regardless, I've taken the pressure sensor out. If that was there, that's why things have changed. What you're going to do up underneath there, when you're underneath there, first you got the 13 millimeters. That's down underneath. I already just showed that. Should just have happened. Next, you're going to want to take out all the brake lines. Now mark those. I marked mine, and trying to get the tape up there was pretty difficult. Some of it fell off. I put the lines back where they should be, so hopefully everything will line up by the time I get it in there. We shall see. But it's up to you to make sure you mark everything, because if you screw this up, you're probably going to have, well, you will have problems. Next thing, pull those all off, and quite honestly, that's all that's holding it in. Oh, and the plugs. That was the other thing that didn't show very well. There's a plug in here on the side of it. This is where that cover plate will be. This part here is facing towards the front of the van, the front part of the van. It'll be in your van, and this part is where the cover piece, the cover plate that comes off the bottom, sits up across here. So after you take that off, you're going to need to unplug this wire here. There's another one here, and then back here there's another one, but you probably won't be able to get to it on the very back part, which would be facing the back of the van. Until you take off all this stuff here, get all the brake lines off, and then you'll just pick the whole thing up. It'll actually move after that. It's completely, the only thing holding this on is the brake lines and these two 13 millimeter bolts. So you'll pick that up and you'll be able to move that around, and then you'll be able to get to this back plug here and unplug it. That's what I had to do. Now the other thing, it'll be sitting in there, and your drive shaft goes around right in here, and you're gonna have to mess with it quite a bit, kind of fandangle it past the drive shaft and down. You don't have to remove the drive shaft. I thought I was gonna have to remove the drive shaft to get this out, but you don't have to. So this will just pick up, and then you'll just get it down however it'll go down past the drive shaft, and it'll pull out. So there are no other nuts and bolts that you have to undo other than the two 13 millimeters on the bottom and your brake lines. So now, after all that as well, I should say, if you do this, there's a good chance you're going to have to do one of two things, and we're going to have to see. Keep an eye on my videos. I'm going to have a bunch of videos on this. I may do a video after I put all those up, do a complete video of all this, but it's going to be a pretty long video, so stay tuned for those. But once you take this thing out, you're kind of past the point of no return. You will have to figure out a way to bleed this, and I've watched a few videos sort of kind of on other units about bleeding it through this end here and stuff, and I've also seen some videos that say you have to take it to the GM to have it done. They have it put it on their computer and do it. But also they seem to be, I guess there's a computer that they've come out with that's in the couple $100 range, so still not expensive, but not as expensive as it'll cost you to probably take this to GM and have them deal with it. Couple $100 range to actually make the computer self-bleed these. I don't know any of that yet, so like I said, you'll have to stay tuned for what you think might happen, or do your own research. But now that this is out, I am past the point of no return, so I'm going to have to figure it out. So this video has probably been long enough already. I'm going to go ahead and end it here as just taking this out of the rig. So from start to finish, you know how to take this out, sort of. It was very difficult to get any kind of videoing done underneath there. There's just not enough room, and there's too many things in the way. So hopefully this made sense to you. And this is Sam, Jack of all, and obviously Master None. You all have a good one.